It's Carol. How are you? It's Saltbox Stitcher back for video number 27. And yes, I know this is just 2 weeks ago that I did my last video, but this was supposed to be the weekend for summer school. So those of us who are so sad we didn't go, I was paid, had my flight, and then late June, a friend of mine got COVID, her husband got COVID. The numbers started going up in Florida and in Arizona, and I just made a decision to cancel. So for those of you who did get to go to summer school this weekend, in fact, it's still going on right now through Sunday morning. I hope you had a wonderful time. I've only been once, and it was so much fun. If it's like the Mecca, the Mecca, it's in Mesa, but it's the Mecca of samplers. So, and silk and princess floss and all that good stuff. So anyway, and by the way, my last name is Whitchurch. I married into it, W-H-I-T, Church. And in Whitchurch, England, there is the Whitchurch Silk Mill. How appropriate is that? I think they make silk ribbon. So I follow them on Instagram just to see what all's going on in the silk mill. And no, I don't think we're related, but maybe many, many generations ago. But anyway, okay, so is it fall yet? Still hot. I think my husband said the other day, he said, I think it's starting to get a little cooler. I'm like, okay. Either that or we're just getting so used to it that it's like the frog in the boiling water. Anyway, I'm always anxious for fall. I can remember living in the Midwest, and you know, when those nights started turning a little bit cooler, it was just like, oh, fall is coming. So, but we don't have too much seasons here in Florida. A little bit. It does get cooler in like after Christmas. So I always look forward to that because that's kind of like our fall weather. But anyway, this is a floss tube or a YouTube or stitchy tube or whatever about cross stitching and a little bit about quilting. I'm going to show you some things I've finished. I'm going to show you some of my haul. I'm going to show you some things I've FFO'd. Believe it or not, yes, I spent all day yesterday. Sorry, I have something. Either it's a spider web or it's hair. Chances are it's probably hair. Some things I FFO'd. I'm going to show you a couple of my framed pieces, mainly because there's some people on Instagram that are stitching these, so I thought they might like to see what it looks like all stitched and framed. So anyway, without further ado, let's get started. What should I show you first? I think first I will show you the framed pieces. How's that? So the first one, and these are big, so the first one I want to show you is, I actually had this one framed at the attic a couple years ago. And this is Jane Tyndall by Needlework Press. I love it. I stitched it on, I believe it was, you know, I don't remember if it was 36 or 40. It looks like 40, but it could be 36. Confederate Gray by Weeks with the called for silks. I love it. It had a lot of grass, but no over one stitching. Who can resist a red cow? I just love it. I originally bought the pattern from Country Sampler. I had never been to the store at that point in time, but I saw it on their website. I ordered it, and I can remember some of my friends saying, what are you, nuts? That thing is huge. I know, and I love it. The other frame piece I want to talk about is Rachel Howell, and this is by the Scarlet House. And Just a side note, if you follow Senorita Stitches, I think that's what it is, Senorita Stitches on Instagram, I think she started this in 2018. It's September Sampler Soiree. And I know Kitten Stitcher last year also did Sampler September. So this was what I stitched. I think 2018 I stitched this one. So this is Rachel Howells by the Scarlet House. These are two of my bigger pieces, and I love them. Rachel Howells by the Scarlet House. So for those of you who want to join in, I'm going to be doing Sampler September again, and I'll talk about that a little later, what my plans are. Don't hold me to it, because you know me. Oh, I keep scooting up because I don't feel like I'm positioned right here. And this is one of my stacks of mini quilts. So many people ask me about the quilts. That's one of my little stacks of mini quilts. So what have I been working on? And I'll talk more about that September soiree when I get to that part of the video. I used to make notes, and I would, then I'd get distracted trying to read my notes. Okay, did I cover this? Did I go over that? And so now I just kind of wing it, which is not necessarily a good thing, but I kind of in my mind have this idea, okay, this is how I want it to go. But if I jump back and forth, it's because I get distracted. So anyway, last time I did a video, I talked about how I was nearing a finish on Red Deer. That was a lie. Because this one took a lot longer. I thought I would finish it like the middle of the next week, and it ended up, it took me over a week to finish it. So anyway, Red Deer by GGR is officially finished. These little flowers that go around the top, and I mean around the border, I should say, not around the top. They have multiple colors. They're just tedious. But I love the look. I'm very happy with it. I think I still had to do a good portion of the pots on the bottom. I had to do the letters on the bottom. I imagine those are initials of people, because they don't, I mean, it's not like a verse or anything. So it's finished. I stitched this on 36 count cedar plank by Lakeside Linens with the called for silks. No, overdyes. I used overdyed cottons, which is what it calls for. Okay, so I finished that, and I finished something else that I'll show you in my FFOs. And then last night, so then after Red Deer, I finished that a week ago. Yeah, it was on a Sunday night. I finished it a week ago. I started whatever I'm going to show you when I get to my FFOs, but I'll point it out. And then I finished it, and then I started on this one. I want to say October 31st, but it's not. It's Bittersweet and Broomsticks. I always want to say Bedknobs and Broomsticks. I think that's an old Disney movie. Cute little witch. My colors didn't turn out quite as much contrast as they do on the picture, but I finished it last night. This is 40 count, that I know, 40 count sheep straw by R&R with the called for overdyes, cotton overdyes. Now, I will tell you on this basket, it's old hickory. Some of my old hickories were very gold, almost the same color as this. So I had to go and scrounge around in some of my other kitted things to find an old hickory by Gentle Art that had more brown to it. Otherwise the basket was gonna just like fade into the flowers or the leaves. Cute little pumpkins. I did not get this FFO'd yet because I finished it about, I don't know, 11:30 last night, which is not the time I'm gonna bring out the sawdust. Somebody asked me, I think it was Marlene, Stitching by the Lake. She said she stuffs up my sawdust. She goes, it makes a mess. And I'm like, it does. Somebody else asked me where I get sawdust. I get it from the garage because my husband does woodwork. Before he did a lot of woodwork, I used to order it, and I think I got it from Scattered Seed. I know it was an Etsy store, so if you go to Etsy and you just search sawdust, if anybody has any, it should come up. So I'll show you in my haul, but I ordered some things from the same gal, Homestead Needleworks. I talked about her last time, and I'm going to show you a few other things that I got from her. This is a pumpkin. Brenda got it, so I had to get it because I don't want to miss out. You know, FOMO, fear of missing out. Oh, and by the way, somebody asked me what FFO meant. Some people say fully finished object. Other people say finally finished. Some of mine are finally finished. Fine as in, you know, I finally got it done. Not finally, but finally. Anyway, I'm going to put this, I think it'll fit on this pumpkin. Let me show you the pumpkin from the other side. The only thing is, to me, pumpkins can stay up through Thanksgiving. Or if it says October 31st and has a witch, it's pretty much Halloween. But since it's going to fit and it has so many cute pumpkins around it, I think that's a good choice. That's what I'm going with. Okay, so I finished that. And then I started on, now, when you start something like this at 11:30 at night, I'm surprised you didn't keep me up all night because it is a wild color. I showed this last time. Gone Batty by With Thy Needle and Thread. Oh, and that Bittersweet and Broomsticks was by With Thy Needle and Thread. Gone Batty, this black cat. So I didn't get very far, just got a few rows done. These strings are from the serging. I need to trim them off. Oh, and by the way, for all of you who are waiting, I did do the drawing on the 3 quilts. So at the end of the video, I will give away the quilts, or I'll announce the winners. Can't say giveaway. Sorry, Carol. Anyway, I started on this. Actually got a little portion of leaves done so that I can start filling in the cat. And then the balance of this is Kermit. The color is Kermit, appropriately named, and it's really bright in person. I may have to do some of the antiquing spray on it once it's finished. But the balance, I'll have enough that I'm going to do. There's a little small witch that I'll show you later in some of my patterns that I might want to consider doing. But there's a little witch, and it's one of the Hoopla series by Brenda Gervais. So this is the called for linen. Picture this plus Kermit. This is a piece of 36 count. I couldn't find any 40 count when I was looking for it. And really, the pattern I think calls for 32. Let's just see if I can tell you. Yes, 32. Worked over 2 threads, and I think it calls for, yeah, it calls for 2 strands. So I thought with 36 I can get away with just 1 strand. So I will finish that, and the balance of August, this is my grandiose plan. The balance of August, I'm going to work on fall smalls. I don't want to do anything too big that's going to, end up being a whip. My goal is to spend 3-4 days and knock them out. Literally. We have this joke in our family about the word literally. My 7-year-old grandson was telling some kid a story, and he said, literally. The kid was like, what? Literally. What? The kid didn't know the word literally. My grandson kept saying, literally. Like, I had a million something. Literally. Okay. This is what I'm so excited to show everybody, because I spent really the better part of yesterday, all day, in my sewing room doing finishing. So, I'm going to show you, I may show you one that was from last time, but that's okay. It goes in the whole parade. And this time, this parade, I'm going to show you, I'm going to tell you what it was done on, if I remember. So, the first one, and I showed you this last time, this is Autumn Alphabet by the Scarlet House. This was done on the called for, which was 40 count mocha linen by Weeks. Mocha? I don't know if I used mocha. I definitely used a 40 count though, because I wanted it to be able to fit on this board, horn book. I don't know what people are calling these now. Butter board or horn book. Anyway, I showed you this last week. I had finished it the week prior, I think, and I just tied a double piece of jute around there to make a cute little. This piece, I'm not sure what pattern this is. I looked and I couldn't find it, but I know it was a monthly series. You got the pattern and a thing of NPI silk. No linen. I don't think it had linen. It might have had linen. And they were by month. So this was, I think this was October. It was either September or October. And I have others. They're just cute. I fill them with sawdust. Just pick the backing. I didn't even put anything around the edge because I just thought it's just cute. It doesn't need really anything. So I fully finished that one. Don't have the pattern. If I did, I would show you. This is my other piece that I stitched this past week. This is But Night Cat by Scarlet House. You can also do it where you just stitch the eyes, or you can do the buttons. I chose to just stitch the eyes. I did it on Murky, a piece of 40 count Murky. October 31st. How cool is that? And I'm going to put a hanger on it, but I ran out of this color of DMC that I made the cording from, because I want to do something so I can hang it. I'd like to eventually have you seen the black? They're black and they're like feather trees. I've looked at some of them. Bethany Lowe, she used to do, I don't know, maybe she still does, but different kinds of dolls and stuff like that. And she has a black feather tree, but it's expensive. So I keep looking. I know at one time Hobby Lobby had them, but then you hang your Halloween ornaments on it. I think it's an adorable idea, but Anyway, so this is Button-Eyed Cat. I finished this week and fully finished it in the same week. Write that down in the history books because that just doesn't happen. And then I just, for a little accoutrement, I had like a rusted pin and a star just to add a little something something. So that's Button-Eyed Cat, done on Murky by the Scarlet House. And then the next piece I did, and there's a couple in here I'd like to do. This is a book by Blackbird. This is the one I'm going to show you, this little pumpkin. For some odd reason, I did not buy this book at the time, which is really weird because I always buy them. Either that or I lost it, I don't know, or loaned it. I don't think I loaned it. I don't usually do that unless I loaned it to my sister or my daughter. Anyway, long story short, I had told a friend of mine, I said, you know, I don't have this. And then I also told my daughter that. Well, it came up on eBay. And evidently my daughter and my friend were bidding against each other. So I paid a lot more for this than I might have had just one of them been. Anyway, I think I paid close to $18, something like that, because they were bidding against each other. Till finally, I told my daughter, I said, yeah, my friend is bidding on this. She's like, so am I. Tell her to stop. Long story short, I made this one. I'd also like to do this one with the cat. I think that's adorable. And this one, the little raven or crow, whatever. There's just some cute little things in here. I know this is hard to find because I saw somebody looking for it. So this is what I made. I did this a long time ago. Oops. I just used some pumpkin fabric on the back. And this is I just added rickrack and a hanger. This rickrack I actually got from Brenda Gervais. She had little packs of them when we were at Midwest last year. So I got that finished to hang on my black feather tree that I don't have. And may never if they're that expensive. They were like $100. No. Okay, what's next? So this one I showed you last week, but I didn't have it finished. This is Button Posies by the Scarlet House. I stuffed it, and I want to put some sort of a red cording, red or like a deep red, more of a fall red or black, I'm not sure. So I still need to put some cording on that. I just put a black print on the back. So that one got stuffed, Button Posies. I had sawdust everywhere yesterday. There were a couple of them I was going to stuff, and then I thought, no, I think I'll just do a flat thing because flat ones you don't even really have to use the sewing machine. You can just glue everything. This is by Plum Street, a bowl full of scaries. This was a series, and this was Scary 2. Oops. It's kind of hard to see it when it's in the plastic. Bowl full of scaries, Scary 2. This is appropriate with the squirrel. We're all distracted by all the stitching squirrels. Stuffed it with sawdust. This one I actually put black rickrack, but the backing is actually a brown, kind of a brown black. So I just made a pin pillow out of this one, stuffed with sawdust. This one I finished last year. See, sawdust kind of hangs around, so I can pick off pieces of sawdust. This one I did, I might have done this last year. I had a few things that I had done in years past. The only one that I finished this year was that Button-Eyed Cat. The next one I finished, fully finished. Oh, I was supposed to have this for the backing. I changed my mind. This is on Redware Road by the Scarlet House. This was originally a kit. Let's see. Colonial Gatherings from Dying to Stitch. So this was a kit on Redware Road. Here's the finishing. I don't usually finish with solid colors. I don't usually use a lot of solid colors on my quilts either. Solid colors in my mind show up all of your errors or your whatever. Oh, Siri, stop it. Turn my phone on silent. So anyway, on Redware Road is here. Although I did use about the same color chenille as they put in. And I used a backing that's... A lot of people like to put the slit in the back and then cover it. For me, I think with sawdust especially, I find that I end up ripping it. You know, if I put... And with sawdust, I think you need a pretty big hole in order to get it in. Now, what I have done sometimes is I will take a water bottle and cut the bottom half off of the water bottle and use it like a funnel. Obviously, take the cap off and use it like a funnel. I definitely have done that for walnut shells because they just like slide right through. But sawdust, you have to really poke it in, poke it in, poke it in. And I'm just afraid if I do just a slit, I'm going to end up with that slit being all the way across the back. It's going to keep ripping and ripping and ripping. Not that I'm that violent. It's like, oh gosh, Carol, go for it. Anyway, I love this one, and I think you can get this. I think she's released this to the public because that's been a while ago that it was a kit on Redware Road. It's not specifically fall, but because of the colors, I think it looks kind of fall-ish. Yes, agreed? Agreed. Then I found this little goodie in my need to be finished. This isn't fall, but it's... See, I have sawdust all over this. This is just a wool pillow. I didn't... See, there's sawdust. It's just everywhere. Now, sometimes I'll take my little vacuum and vacuum that. Sometimes I'll use one of those rollers that's like giant masking tape to get all that stuff off of there. Isn't that cute? Just a little pineapple with some wool pennies. This was, and originally it was a kit. I have no idea where I got it because I've had this for eons. It's by Little Stitches. I did find the pattern. There it is, Little Stitches. And it's just a collection of wool pin cushions, number 391. I like the bee skep and I love the basket. I need to do the basket. So off to the finisher it went. I just think it's cute. It almost looks like a face on the pineapple. I did that on purpose. Because I think they actually, on the picture, have a few more little triangles on the... And then my last two that was a lot of finishing. It was. That's how I pay myself in haul. And I really had to search for some of these patterns because some of these I did a while ago, like last year, maybe even the year before. It's been a while since and I still have a lot of things to finish for Christmas, little smalls and ornaments and all that. But this one is called Scary Mouse. I would love to call it Boo. That's not the name of it. Scary Mouse, by With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. And this one I did into a flat fold. I don't know what color I stitched this on. It's a Picture This Plus. Let me see what it calls for. Pewter. That's probably what I stitched on. 40 count pewter by Picture This Plus. So yeah, that's it. Little mouse. And then I put a bow with the rickrack because I put rickrack on the side. I had a backing that kind of matched the rickrack. When I do these, I actually do 2 pieces of cardboard or mat board. And then I wrap the stitched piece around and glue it down. And then I do the same thing with the back, another piece of cardboard, and I wrap it around. So obviously your cardboard has to be exactly the same size, or mat board. Sometimes on the back I'll use a cheaper, something that came with a shirt, just so the front is more stable. I use mat board. And then I glue the back, fold it over, glue it to the cardboard. Then I take the 2 wrong sides and smash them together and glue them. Sometimes I need to put it under books or something heavy in order to get it to really stay nice. And I definitely let them sit overnight. But anyway, I took the rickrack I had, it's kind of a peachy, but it matches these little pumpkins. And sometimes that's what I like to do. I like to pull out a color because it would be really hard to match this green. So you can pull out a color that's not a predominant color and then use it for your backing or your trim, and it adds a little whatever. So I put a button, glued a rusted star in the middle of the button, put a bow. Good enough for government work, as Laura says. I have one more. I was a busy girl yesterday. This one I've been searching because I really, really wanted to do it in more of a check than a plaid. But all of my fabric, I did not have I had some black checks, but the background wasn't as white. It was more like tan, and it didn't. So anyway, I thought this one turned out adorable. And this is Boo to You, Brenda Gervais. She has a series of these. She has a Christmas one is like Peppermint Somebody. I think that's a snowman. I'm trying to think. I have all the patterns. I think there's 3 in the series, but there could be 4. I'm not sure. So Boo to You by Brenda Gervais, a little pumpkin head with a bird and a little basket. So I stitched it with 36 count Winter Brew by R&R. And this is the one, I know I did this one last year. I started out stitching it on Beach Brew and it wasn't showing up, so I had to take all of that out. I didn't have a whole lot done, just like the vine. And I redid it on the Winter Brew that it calls for. And then I took some Lady Dot pom-pom. So this one I actually did 3 pieces of cardboard. So the first one is this, the stitch piece. Figured out the margin I wanted. Got a piece of mat board, glued it. I actually pull a thread to make sure it's even. Whatever your margin's going to be. Okay, so if you want to, let's say you want a 1/2 inch from the edge of your stitching to the here. And then you have to have at least 1 inch to turn around the back. So you would pull a thread at maybe 1 3/4, 1 1/2, whatever. I like to give myself extra. Because what if I get it on there and I think, oh, I really needed more of a margin. So I pull a thread so I can cut it on the thread. And then when I pull it to the back, I make sure that I, fold up following that thread line. So then I use 2 pieces of cardboard for this backing. I really wanted to get it to match, but that looks like it does appear a little bit better. Anyway, so I used 2 pieces of cardboard so that you don't see the fold over. If I just used one and I had this margin of fabric, you would see the fold over at the top. And I didn't want to see the fold over on the back either. So I took 2 pieces of mat board, wrapped each one exactly the same, trying my best to stay with the plaid. And then I glued the lady dot because it has like a little, mesh edge to the lady dot. And so then I glued that mesh edge to the back of this stitch piece, then glued the whole thing. Then I decided it needed something else, so I went searching for something, and these were part of my fake flowers that I have for fall, and then I just tied a black. It's a piece of cording that came that way. I didn't make that cording. And I put not a paper clip, a clothespin here all night long so that the glue would stick. Now, I can't tell you where to buy these because I bought them at the store that I used to work at, but I have these easels. Let me move some of this stuff. So you got the pattern. Boo to You, done on 36 count Winter Brew by R&R. I pretty much always use the called for on some of these smalls. Anyway, I have these easels. This is one of the smaller ones. I have some bigger ones. So let's say I get a piece back from framing, which I haven't done in a while, but anyway. And let's say I want to set it somewhere kind of in prominence. My house is small, so I don't have a lot of places to set stuff, but sometimes I want to set it. I'll use one of the big ones. And then I just put that in the easel. And I'll do that. That probably could stay out all year. Not all year, all fall. So Boo to You. No, yes, Boo to You. See, the other one said boo, so that would, but it was the mouse. So that was my fully finishing. Aren't you proud of me? Very proud of myself. Okay, so in an effort to continue to stitch on, I also have a couple of these. Finish the sentence, Carol. I watch my videos, and I can't tell you how many times I'm like, you never finish sentences. I guess my brain's just going faster than my mouth, although I find that hard to believe. I also have some small little easels. This is a little more decorative. And unfortunately, this one does not sit even. So whatever you put it in, it kind of tilts. And I like it, but I wish it would sit a little more even. I think it's because the bottom is not the same. Anyway, I do use that though. Okay, let's try to finish the sentence. I'm going to try for the rest of the month of August to just really power down and stitch through some of these, I call them smalls. Yeah, they're not, they're not all like that little pumpkin out of that one Tricks or Treat book. But for me, I can finish them in 3 or 4 days of stitching my regular routine stitching at night. I just don't stitch once in a while I'll stitch during the day. But I have other things too. I like to do hand applique. I like to piece quilts. I have my business where I, quilts. And I definitely don't want to do that at night because I'm too tired at night to do that. So stitching to me is my relaxation at the end of the day, and I don't have, oh, I gotta go do this. I gotta put laundry in. I don't have any of that. Dinner's done, the dishes are done, yada, yada, yada. And by the way, if you look up what yada, yada, yada means, you might be surprised. It's Hebrew. I have these days where my brain just is like, in left field. It's like, what the heck? I watch some of my videos and I'm like, who are you? So I'm going to finish Gone Batty. That's the one on the green linen. And then I'm going to show you some other things that are in the possibility range. I'm not going to finish all of these by any means, but they're just some fall things. Some of them I might have showed you last week. Things I want to do. First of all, I'm going to show you a couple little wool people. Is this not adorable? Let me see where I bought this. I have no idea. This was by Shakerwood Woolens in Rock Hill, South Carolina. I've never, well, I maybe have been to Rock Hill. I don't know. It's all kitted, and I think it is actually kitted to make more than one. Comes with your floss, your buttons. I might cut this out this afternoon. It's just adorable. I'm kind of into these crazy cats. Between the Scaredy Cat, or the Button-Eyed Cat by Scarlet House, and then my Gone Batty, and then this one. I mean, really. I don't have any cats, so, you know. I think his eyes are like off. In other words, one button's up and one button's down. He's just adorable. So anyway, Shakerwood Woolens, I have no idea if they're still in business, because this could be 10 years old. I've told you a lot of times before. I used to work at a store here in Jacksonville. It was called the Old Green Cupboard. It was kind of like a country sampler in that we had greenery, we had, other, primitive things like those easels, all kinds of stuff. But we also had cross stitch, a little bit of cross stitch, not a lot. She was just starting to get into more cross stitches about the time she closed the store. We had a huge quilting department, huge. We were in top 10 quilt shops at one time because we had such a huge, because we had such a huge quilt department. Finish your sentence. Actually, it had been a grocery store. A small grocery store, but it had been a grocery store. So that's how big our store was. So anyway, we could have carried these, and I got it 10 years ago. I don't know. But hello, not going to live forever, Carol. Let's finish these, is what I was going to say. See, I'm trying to do better. Help me out here. I'm trying to do better. Here's another one, because, we're into cats, but we're also into pumpkin heads. They're just adorable. Same company. Now I know it was a long time ago, because $14.50, and this is another kit. Came with all the stuff. Now, some of this is wool. Well, this is wool. For some of you who may not know, there's a difference between wool felt and felted wool. Wool felt is not a woven product. It is just a product where they use wool fibers, and I think they add, it's not completely 100% wool. They use, whether it's nylon, I don't think it's cotton, but they use other fibers and smush it all together and make fabric out of it. That is wool felt. Then there's also regular felt. Like if you'd go to Joann's and want to do a project with your second grade class, you could buy felt squares. That's not wool. So you have regular felt, like you'd buy at Hobby Lobby or Joann's, and they usually come in, squares. You can get it on the roll too, I think. Then you have wool felt, which a lot of stores that carry like wool things will carry wool felt. And then there's felted wool. Felted wool is regular wool that's woven, could be a plaid, whatever, and it's washed and dried. Now, we all know if you ever had a garment that was wool, the last thing in the world that you would do would be to wash it and dry it. I had made myself, years ago, I was in college when pantsuits were like, some of you younger people don't know what Pantsuits were like the thing. I'm finishing. Some of you younger people don't know about pantsuits, but that was a big thing, pantsuits. So I had this beautiful wool knit pantsuit that I had made. So I come home from college, and my mom was so kind to do all my laundry. And she pulled, I'll never forget this. She pulled that top of the pantsuit out of the dryer and she started crying. She's like, oh my gosh, I did not know this was wool. Well, I'd made it, so there was no label in it. It literally would fit a child. It had shrunk that much. Plus it was knit, so knit shrinks. So anyway, but if you want your wool felted wool, not wool felt, but felted wool, you wash it. And that's a lot of what is in hooked rugs, is wool that has been washed, dyed, and put in the dryer. And it smushes up the fibers so that it's just makes just a wonderful texture. That's your little textiles lesson for the day. I am a textiles major, believe it or not, but I've forgotten way more than I ever learned. So anyway, these kits from this Shaker Wood Woolens. Let me see that. I don't even know if it's still in existence. Rock Hill, South Carolina. ShakerWoodWoolens.com. Anyway, this is wool. The other key is if it's a plaid, sometimes stripes, but if it's a plaid or a herringbone, it's going to be wool, because you can't get that effect without it having been woven. Versus wool felt is going to be solid colors. There you go. So I know because of these patterns on this that this is wool. Same with this. This is wool. It had a solid piece in there, so I thought I liked that. Versus this one is wool felt. I can tell it's wool, but it's not originally woven. And see, now this is a piece of felted wool, and so is this. And this may be too, but I can tell by the backing that this is not wool. This is wool felt. Clear as mud? Okay, then we'll go on. That was 2 of the fall things that I would like to work on. That could be a daytime project though, so that doesn't have to be stitching. These were 2. Okay, this is the one that I definitely will do when I finish. I need to size out when I finish, gone batty, I need to size out my linen on that, so I know which corner to do this. And then I'm going to put it just like this. I think I even have, this is done with floss, but I think I even have a little tiny broom. I used to make dolls years ago. And I think I might have a little broom, you know, for like a doll that I could just add to it. And I have some of these hoops that I got from Brenda Gervais in her little store last year. So I am definitely going to do that one. These are 2 of her latest. Oh wait, what's the name of that? That was, that's Holiday Hoopla. And she has a whole series of holiday hooplas. This is Halloween with the witch and the pumpkin and the moon. And all of the shoes on her little witches are the same. They're just adorable. Little tiny feet. Oh gosh, I hope this video takes, because if it's not recording. Okay, these are 2 of her newest patterns. Let's see. You guys have probably seen this. This is Hilda Boo and Sunflowers 2. Really want to get this one done. This one I'm waiting on 18th Century Blackbird. I ordered some and I'm waiting on that to do it. And then I think I needed a few colors. Blooming Crocus, I think I needed. Anyway, I needed a few colors, so I'm waiting on that. And I need to get some checked ribbon. I know Priscilla and Chelsea, they use a lot of checked ribbon, and so does Brenda Gervais in her, because that's really cute. I'm hoping I can get some of that. So this is one of her newest ones, and I'm waiting on floss and linen on that. This is another one of her newer ones. The Witch's Brew. Cute, with the little rickrack around the edge and the spoon. I ordered one spoon. You can order them from her site, Country Stitches online. But I will tell you, she's deep in the mire of Coming to America, the Mayflower Women series, which I'm hoping comes this week. I'm so excited. Anyway, at one time when she came out with Coffee First, which was one of her market releases, I bought a spoon. I've since wanted to go on and buy a couple more spoons, one for this and one, I bought 2 of the Coffee First so I could send one to my sister, which I hope is not wrecking a surprise. But I'm waiting to order another spoon, and she's out of them right now. Brenda Gervais out of them. So anyway, so this one, I'm waiting on a couple colors on this one. I have most of them, but I don't have all of them. And this is done on 38 count Heron Gray Linen by Legacy Linen. Now Legacy is made by Access Commodities. And a good place to get Legacy linen is Hoop and Frame. And at one time I had ordered some Heron Gray and it came. And this is what she uses for this. Hoop and Frame. Pretty sure I think they're in Texas. I don't want to unpackage it. Anyway, y'all can see. It's just a gray linen, and that's what that calls for. This Witch's Brew. That's part of my haul. So I want to do that one. I've had this for a couple years. I think Brenda and Laura talked about this one. It's a Blackbird piece. The Birds of Autumn, giant strawberry. I really want to do this. Really want to do this. It came as a kit. Originally it was from Dying to Stitch. Even has the velveteen for the top of, the top of the strawberry. It's done on, let me just tell you what it's done on, since you asked. Oh, crinkle, crinkle, crinkle. Vintage Beeswax. This is an R&R, and I love that color. It's beautiful. Here's another one. I think somebody had started this. I think it was Kindred Stitcher. And since I'm into these black cats, this is called The Cat in the Moon. I won't do this. That's a little frilly for me. I thought about putting it in one of those little tins or even in a hoop. Would be cute if I have the right size hoop. This one calls for sheep straw. So this is sheep straw that I used for my October. Nope. Bittersweet and broomsticks. So I will use part of this linen, since I didn't cut it down, to do that. So we'll just put those together because that needs to be done. Here's another one, Witch's Night Out. by Brenda Gervais. See, and these really go fairly fast. I mean, I know you've got the big cauldron that takes a little bit of solid stitching, but they go fast. And at one time, I had mentioned that you can dye straight pins. See how her straight pins have a black top? Blackbird did that, and I want to say just regular paint, but somebody told me, I'm going to have to go back and look through my comments and get back with you next time on how to dye the top. You know, they're white or colored, and you can dye them so they're black. This one's a little bit more intense, and this one I've had for years. Well, yeah, I have. 2014. Bittersweet Lane by Blackbird. This is a lot of stitching around the border, but so cute. Love the horse, love the house. Who doesn't like quilt blocks inside of a pumpkin? I mean, what's wrong with you if you don't like that? Don't know. Recently, I was looking through Deb from Country Stitchers. I was looking through some of her previous posts, and she did this beautiful Olga's Autumn Stocking. I love this. I don't know if I can get to it or not. We'll see. So my plan is to do fall stitching till the end of August, and then I'm gonna start on. There was one other one I wanted to show you. No, two others. Then I'm going to start on September soiree, and all during the month of September, I'm going to stitch on samplers, and then October 1st. That's my plan. Don't hold me to it. I would like to start Ghoul-Tide Welcome. I've wanted to start that for years. I have it kitted. Would be wonderful if I could finish it during October. Then November and December I can do Christmas stitching. It's my plan. We'll see. These were two others I had. Drawn thread. They're all kitted. And they're actually kitted with silks. I think you can, I don't know. I was going to say you can get them with the silks. This says welcome. It's Halloween. Adorable. I had a friend that did, oh, and I have another one. Another drawn thread I didn't bring out. It's autumn. Can I put it in here? Oh, please. It must be in a different bag. Oh no, it's not drawn thread. It's Cricut Collection. DMC. Oh, and a couple silks. Okay. That's cute. A friend of mine did this one. I don't know when I'll be able to start it. I don't even have it completely kitted. One Skeleton's Dance by Drawn Thread. It was so cute. Really cute. Okay. Is it fall yet? Do you feel like it's fall? Is it cooler? Turn the air conditioner. Well, that's another thing. Do you say turn the air conditioner down, or do you say turn the air conditioner up? My husband does it according to the temperature. So if he says turn it up, he wants it hotter. If he says turn it down, he wants it colder. I go by like, is it running? So turn it up means crank it up. Turn it down means lessen the use of the air conditioner. This is Distract You Sunday. Okay, now let me just reposition some of this so that I'm not having stuff fall all over itself. Last time I did a video, I posted on Instagram. the huge pile of stuff that was on, because once I finish, I take everything off of the dining room table and take it to my sewing room so I can reorganize, put patterns back and all of that. Because then my husband sits down at the computer, at his laptop at the dining room table to do all, and he doesn't want all this stuff around him when he's trying to do his thing, which I'm thankful for. So now I'm going to show you a little bit of choices for September. First of all, first and foremost, because I finished Red Deer, my promise to myself was I was going to finish some of my whips, which, by the way, I actually counted up my sampler whips and it was 26. Well, 25 now that I finished Red Deer. All of these I've got here are new starts. Charlotte Clayton, I showed this to you last time. Needleworker Ellen is stitching it and is doing very well. She's so brave. She does the over one. That's where I am. I showed you this last time. So September 1st, I'm picking this lady up and we're gonna go for a ride. Hopefully it'll be a short trip. We shall see. Okay, that's all of Charlotte Clayton stuff. Okay, then when I start, if I finish it in September, which I really would like to, we'll see. My table keeps. If I do, then I have choices what to start, and I can start. So I'm going to show you a bunch of things. This one is Jenny Bean by the Scarlet Letter. I actually started this one, so this actually technically is a whip. But I don't like the way this shows up purple. It doesn't look purple when I look at it, but it looks purple here. So I think I may, and since I'm using a Veriswa, I think I can get by with one strand on 32. Black is hard to see anyway. If I do one strand on 32, this is gunmetal. Then it might be easier to stitch and it might work. So. And those I have a Veriswas, which is what it calls for. Jenny Bean. So that would actually be a whip. Then, if you watch the latest Attic charts and their starts and their charts, which I was there. Anyway, they showed Lucy Snooshall by Linda Danielson, Samplers Remembered, Linda Vinson. Okay, got my names mixed up here. Linda Danielson, yeah, I was right. Go with your first gut response. So I have that kitted, so that could be a start. I had to leave and come back. Anyway, I'd tell my husband something. Here's some other candidates for once I finish Charlotte Clayton, because Charlotte Clayton is going to come first. I have wanted to do this forever. Never. This is also Scarlet Letter. I'm trying to get it out of the package. I have it kitted with the silks, but I don't have linen yet. Jane Atkinson, circa 1780. Somebody just finished this. Yvette, maybe. Now this will be a work in progress, definitely, because there's a lot of stuff on that border, and you have quite a bit of over one. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I would love it hanging in my house. On 40 count, it's 14, it measures 14.5 by 23. This is not for the faint of heart. But so beautiful. Then I talked about this one before when I talked about red samplers, or red house samplers. Lucy Calcott. Really would like to start on her. She's beautiful with that bow up the top. 8 years old. Can you believe it? 8 years old. This was the video games of the 1800s. Oh, please, Mommy, may I work on my sampler? Please, please, please. You've had a lot of sampler time this week. I know, but I really love it. Jane Cowie by Scarlet House. I've showed this one. This came out at Market. Love, love, love it. Here we got 2. Just have to take them out of the plastic. These are kitted too. I didn't have linen with that Jane Atkinson, but Jane Cowie, 1850. I feel like I need to turn it this way since the pattern is cockeyed. Look at those birds and those moths or butterflies, whatever. Kitted. This one I don't have kitted, and I probably won't start it. I don't know if I showed you this last time. This was something I've recently purchased. Hannah Anson by Hands to Work. It's one of her recent releases. I think I showed you that time. Another Scarlet House. This is Mary Miller, which was through the Country Sampler. It was one of the, I think they're called Schoolgirl Samplers Club. Kitted. I've shown you Hannah Lancaster before. This is another one that would be a work in progress. And this girl is large. Oh, just 15 3/4 by 21 on 35 count. Oh shoot, that's like, what's the stitch count? Doesn't say right there. I'd have to look up the pattern. Yeah, that's another one from that Worcester. Somebody told me how to say that. Worcester Museum. Linen. DMCs. The last one that I have is Possibilities, and I may go through my stash and find even more. This is that Eliza Hills, 1856. And I actually have a couple different pieces of linen in here. I know people talk about the camo fudge. I have a piece of apple butter by Dixie Sampler. And I have a piece of something else. I'm not sure what it is. It's from Teresa. It's one of hers. So, with the silks. I'm kind of leaning toward that one. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to show you a little bit of haul, and then I'm going to announce the quilt winners, and then sayonara. Okay, my first little bit of haul was I got some hog bristle from the attic, and I could only get, I asked them for either 36 or 40, whatever they had, and I got 36. It's by Fox and Rabbit. I love the color. It's wonderful. I got a piece of Olive Branch by Dixie Sampler. I asked her to dye this, or to get, I asked for a piece of this special. That's a fat half. What else did I get? I got my Victorian motto club piece and the Victorian motto threads, which I do occasionally use. I've just started collecting them recently. These are great Christmas colors because they're greens and reds. Very nice. Let's see. I got a Stitchy Kindness from, and I'm going to put her name up here because you need to follow her. Serena Stitching. Lisa Nash Stockline. Stokeland. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. She's on Instagram. She's been posting her project bags on Instagram. It's very nice. She gifted me one. This is a cute, cute, kind of primitive Christmas piece of fabric. Love those old world kind of Santas in the houses with the stars. Very cute. Very me. And what do you have in that bag? Well, since you asked. This is something that has not been released yet, but I'm thinking Brenda will probably release it soon, or at least next year by market. Winter Rose Manor. It was a piece, I think Stephanie is working on this. It's Pam and Steph. Just keep stitching. And I have it kitted. This was one I got last year at the Midwest Fall Cross Stitch Retreat, and it calls for this Dirty by Zweigart, and that's what I'm going to use. I actually found a piece in my stash. I was so surprised. 36 count. Oh, my stomach's growling. Just in case you wanted to know. And the next thing, let me see if I can get this out of here, that I got, a friend sent me some Stitchy Kindness. This is another one of that same girl, Serena's bags, to coordinate with the Coming to America project that's everybody's starting to receive. From Brenda Gervais, celebrating 400 years since the Mayflower. I also downloaded this from Hewlett Hill Samplers. I don't have a color printer. Betty Glover, 1837. Laura's hepped up about these girls. And I kind of am too. Got my Dying to Stitch. Not sure why that's in there. Got my Dying to Stitch Gather. Pineberry Lane Club Quaint Country Ladies Club Kit. What else did I get haul? Oh, I know. I got that pumpkin from April, which is Homestead Needleworks, or Etsy shop, Homestead Needlework. I got the pumpkin from her. I also got a couple of these butterboards. This one is like tan. This one's a little bigger. This is red. Thought that would be cute for something for Christmas. And then this one is black, and this one I think will fit that Witch's Brew. Is it the Witch's Brew? No, the other one. The two new Brenda Gervais patterns. It'll fit on this. Seems like it's really dark in here. And then I wanted to show you, I think last time I was going to show you, I have also ordered in the past for little quilt hangers. And you know, you could put a stitching piece on here if you know, you'd have to finish the edges obviously. Or hang it unframed, I mean unfinished, whatever. But this is one that I hang. This is one of my mini quilts. And this one is the barn red. And what they do is this screws, and so that lessens the tension. And then you can stick something in there. And then they hang on the wall. And then before that, I also have ordered in the black. And this was some other Stitchy Kindness that I received. It's actually red. Man, it just doesn't show up at all. And it says, it's from a friend, and she said, "May your heart always be generous and content." How cute is that? It's not black. It's very dark red. Sorry, the lighting just went kapooey. And now we're to the point where I am going to announce the quilt winners. So I have to go to my phone to do that. We did them on the YouTube. I had so many comments, it was too hard to just ask Siri for a number and go. Okay, the winner, let me see here. The winner of the newspaper quilt, which was the black and white and red all over, is Stitchy Girl in SR _ in SR. Stitchy Girl in SR. Newspaper quilt. Second. The next one is Stephanie. See, you can't see it. Stephanie Hayashida, 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 and that is the bright quilt. Stephanie Hayashida, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. And Stitchy Girl in SR, I'm not sure her name, her first name. And the winner of the sewing quilt is Frankie Kins, Kins. I think maybe her name's Frances. Frankie Kins. So Frankie won the sewing, Stephanie won the bright, and Stitchy Girl in SR won the newspaper one. And if you will email me your address I'll put this in the drop down. I think we know how to do this. But it's C as in Carol, B as in boy, W, CBW, quilt, no S, just quilt @gmail.com. Send me your address and I will send you your quilt. I may not put a label on them. I may just sign the back of them. I think that sounds good enough. So anyway, I'm close to 8,000 subscribers, which maybe next time we'll have 8,000. I am very sorry. It looks like it's really going to storm here. So we've got all this hurricane, tropical storm, Laura and Marco, or whatever their names are. Pray for those out there in the Gulf Coast, because they'll be getting it much more worse than we are. So anyway, hope you have a good Sunday. Hope you get a lot of stitching done. And it was good to be back with you. I might be back in 2 weeks again. Who knows? Depends on how much I get done. Anyway, love ya. Bye.